I'm Matt Ebert. I turned one collision repair shop into a multi-billion-dollar business called Crash Champions. Now I'm sitting down with people who have also built great things so you can build something of your own. Our episode today was filmed at CES. This was our third year attending that event. And for those that don't know, CES is the world's premier tech event. While I was there, I walked the floor with Danny. I talked about our goals for 2026, why conferences like CES are important, and we checked out some very cool cars along the way. Here's our walk and talk from the show floor. This is Pod Crash. Hi everyone, welcome to Pod Crash. We're here remotely this time at the Consumer Electronics Show here in the beginning of January. I got with me Danny Briones, our Chief Marketing Officer. We're going to talk about some things that we see coming up this year, and I'm just going to turn it over to him, and I think you're handing me the questions this time.
I am. We're going to do this again. I'm going to throw some questions at you, and I mean, when you talk about being here at the Consumer Electronics Show CES 2026, nothing sets the tone for innovation or technology like this event does. And what I wanted to do today is kind of get Matt Ebert's predictions for the automotive space, or what consumers can expect on what's coming next.
All right.
So
we can look back next year and see how much of what I thought would happen might come true.
Or wrong. One of the two.
Right.
So founder and CEO of Crash Champions. Crash Champions, one of the largest collision repair entities or organizations in the country. 650 repair shops plus, right? Over 11,000 team members, and then we're in 38 states overall. But what is a CEO, or why is Matt Ebert here at CES?
Yeah, great question, because probably several years ago you would have never saw me at this show. It's consumer electronics, a lot of neat gadgets here, but why would we be here kind of as a function of work? And the answer really is a couple different directions. First of all, the vehicles have advanced so much in the last 5 to 10 years for sure, that even this whole show is full of a lot of stuff auto related that wouldn't have been here several years ago. So, they put this technology on the vehicles, which is great, but somebody has to fix it. Somebody has to know how to service it. And so we're here to kind of get a peek at what's coming from a vehicle perspective so that we can position the business best to be able to service what's on the come. And, that comes from new vehicles that are coming out that we've never even heard of, to new technologies being put on the cars that we already repair. And then within the business, we're looking for ways to make us better through technology, make things easier on our team, make things more efficient. And so there's some specific things, our CIO is here and he's running around like a kid in a candy store.
He's geeking out for the most part,
yeah. And half the stuff he's looking at, he has to explain to me what it is and why we need it, or why it will help us. But all of those things, when it comes to technology and AI and the things that we want to put into the business for our people to use, a lot of it is we see what's on the come, and we see the new, better technologies coming here. So it's worth a couple-day trip to do it. And then, of course, we had announced last year with Afila that we're going to service those vehicles.
Actually right behind us.
Yeah, that booth's right behind us. And so there's that relationship to continue going, to stay up to date with what's happening with that vehicle. So we expect it to actually hit the road later this year.
Yeah. And for those who might not know Afila, so Afila is a Sony Honda Mobility joint venture.
Yep.
And they made a vehicle that they announced last year, called the Afila One. And Crash Champions is going to be the premier service provider.
Yes.
And what does that mean? Is it collision repair, or is it other?
Well, it'll be that and all service. In fact, they probably, like everybody, hope that their technology stops the cars from wrecking, even though we know that it doesn't completely eliminate it. It does reduce the accidents. But yeah, so from a servicing the vehicle perspective, whether something out of warranty or something breaks, we're going to be able to fix it. So it's great for us because, the advanced driver assist systems that are on the cars today are going to slow down the number of accidents over the next decade or so. So when we look at how do we continue to grow the business if there's less and less collisions in the world, one of the things that we certainly can do is look at other avenues of servicing the vehicles. And so Afila is one that we thought we could do well. They're starting out small, right? Because they're just getting started.
Yeah.
They're keeping the geography to California at first, so we'll be able to train on it and keep up with it and do a great job servicing those vehicles. Also, the technology, they want it to be an interactive experience with the car. And so the technology that we need to build on our side to interact with their technology is technology that we can use in the future with other vehicles and things. So from a connected car standpoint, it's going to be great for us because we're positioning the company in a good spot to deal with what I feel the future of mobility is, or what we used to call cars. Now we put this fancy word called mobility on it, but I think it's the future where we're headed.
Yeah, so a lot covered there, right? But when you think about you being here, right, CEO of Crash Champions, and you think about this entire connected experience, right? We talked about Afila, we talked about ADAS, we talked about kind of the advancements in the automobile. Like, you being here, does that help you open your mind to just the connectivity between the consumer, technology, the vehicle, and us? Is that your main reason for being here?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you never know where you get ideas from, right? Or what makes you think about what. But for one thing is, here's where you see a bunch of cool gadgets that consumers are really enjoying, that they're integrating into their lives, and that's from a device you're holding in your hand, to a robot, to anything. And so, yeah, when we think about the future customer experience, I mean, you walk by a booth here and you can see what effectively is the technology sounding like a person at a drive-through ordering window for a restaurant.
Right.
Like, there may be some use for that within our business one day. I don't know that. We didn't come here for that. But you get ideas like that just by walking by and seeing what others have to offer.
So you've had the chance to walk the floor today, right? Earlier. Was there something that you were looking most forward to, or something that you still haven't seen that you're excited about or want to learn more about?
I really don't come with expectations. Like I said, Mark is the one who's here with a big list of stuff that he definitely has to see and check out. And tagging along with him for a while was interesting because, 360 cameras and stuff is an example of a technology we've been looking at for when the vehicles show up at the shop. You're able to, get a video of them right as they drive through the door. And so those cameras have come a long way in the last couple of years. And so he has some specific kind of problems, I would say, with the whole idea to solve that he's looking for. So walking around looking at him and how he's looking at these technologies and what he's looking for is quite interesting.
Yeah, so Matt, another question on that. So we have thousands and thousands of companies here, right? Representing all sorts of technologies, innovations, so on and so forth. Is there something else or something more that you have your eyes set on at this point that you're looking to integrate or introduce into the company?
Interesting. Well, I mentioned the camera earlier, but I think one thing that we've seen a ton of here that we've been talking about for a while is the wearables. And,
right.
From all of the advancements in the cars and the training that we need to do to keep up with it, or even the information that we need on the vehicle when we're repairing it, it seems like there's a future advantage if we can develop something where our technicians, through the wearable glasses, got the information right there in front of their eyeball. Now, it's more of an idea right now, but that's something that it seems to be really hot right now, in that we can't walk 100 feet without seeing a different kind of pair of them. And it's something that I know that we've talked about, and it looks like everyone else is using it for similar types of things. So I bet you it's not that far away.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, there's been nothing but wearable technology, and it seems like that's the future. I mean, for me, the only reason I wear wearables are to look cool. Ray-Ban, shout out. And the other thing too with the wearables is just all the outside of just the display and the information that you can get from it is really the AI technology that they're integrating into it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Looking ahead into 2026, are there any trends consumers can be excited about or expect to see in this coming year?
I would say from our business standpoint, one thing they can look forward to is we're seeing car insurance premiums start to come down. So they went up really, 30% or so in a lot of cases. And so that really affected the consumer. And
that affected me, Matt.
Yeah, it affected everybody,
like
20,
right? 20% for the entire family.
Right. And so I would say that, insurance companies have gotten the profitability that they needed. They were losing money. That's why the premiums needed to come up. Now they've gotten them to where they're good, and so now they can start to be competitive again. They'll try to gain market share and try to sell more policies, and so the price is going to get a little more competitive for the consumer this year, which is great for the consumer and for us, for our business too.
Yeah, that's good to see. And I'm already seeing those reductions take place. I mentioned it affected me or my family as well. Went up, 20-30%, but we're already getting, contacted by the insurance carrier that our rates are dropping. So consumers can expect to see a lot more of that here. How do you see this technology changing our space in the collision repair space?
Well, for the worse is that now we're in this world where we constantly have to keep learning faster and faster and faster just to keep up with where things are going. I've expressed this before. For our business, the technicians for a long time now, I believe, is going to be hands on the car, but it's the efficiencies that we can gain in the front office through administrative work and stuff like that. I think that all these new technologies will help us a lot. From a customer experience perspective, I think that there's things that we can do that will create a much more way to communicate more effectively, more efficiently, and more in a way that our consumers might prefer. And so I see things like that as the real possibilities for us to improve in the near term. And I mean, there's robots being demonstrated here, so I'm not a big tech guy to be able to predict what the whole future world will be like 20 years from now. But immediately, though, I do see ways that affect us all.
Got it. And on that tech comment, as we think through here at the Consumer Electronics Show, and you mentioned this in the beginning, when you think about 5-10 years ago, the automobile or the manufacturers didn't have a big presence. The Consumer Electronics Show, or CES, yes, it's a ton of innovation, ton of technology, but vehicles itself play a huge place here, right?
Oh, and vehicles are super complicated. I tell that example of a 777 aircraft has like 15 million lines of code. Today's automobiles have 150 million lines of code powering them. That a Fila car is more of an entertainment system on wheels,
right.
Interactive entertainment, from gaming to as much as it is a vehicle. And so, the cars are super complicated, giving the customers and consumers all kinds of conveniences and things that they might want. A whole list of things they may never use, but there's a lot of technology on the cars today.
So Matt, you mentioned all the technology that's inside of these vehicles, right? When you think about the lines of code, all the equipment, all the technology that goes in these cars, for the consumer out there, is there something they should consider when selecting a collision repair shop?
Well, for sure, I would say they want to consider Crash Champions, of course. That's the answer I would obviously say. But here's why. We're making sure that we keep up with the technology. It goes beyond just the cosmetic and how does the car look today.
How do you mean?
Well, because you're dependent on the car to in some cases almost drive itself, right? And so that's done through technologies that assist the driver. It's done through sensors and cameras and radars, lidars and things like those, and those exist all around the perimeter of the car. So it used to be, say, changing a mirror was changing a mirror.
Right.
Now there's a camera and sensors in the mirror, and those need recalibrated to the car's electronic, to the computer, to the system. And so the only way you know if a car is recalibrated correctly is to calibrate it. And so you need to know how to do that. And so the shops that are fixing the cars today need to be able, which is a huge initiative of ours, is to be able to service the cars that are on the road today. And we want to stay ahead of that so that we're putting the consumer back in a safe vehicle. And that would be one thing for sure that I would say is much different than, say, even 5 years ago, especially 10 years ago. It was, how is the car going to be safe? Is the car going to look good? All those things still exist, but safety today is not as visible as it used to be. Are the electronics all lined back up again, and are they going to work? Are they going to work properly?
Yeah, and you mentioned ADAS, so it's Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, right?
Yes.
And those are like the lane keep, the lane assist, the blind spot monitoring, all this technology that's put in a vehicle to make the consumer's life or customer's life easier has now become that much harder to repair today.
Yes.
So you're saying it's imperative that it's not that every shop can't fix it, but the shops that can fix it should be trained, they should have the correct equipment, and the consumer can do their research to ensure that they're selecting the right collision repair shop.
Correct.
So Matt, as the CEO of our company, you have to decide what technology to ignore and what to implement. So my question to you is, what advice do you have for other leaders or entrepreneurs or other business folks out there that are looking to implement technology? And is there such a thing of implementing it too fast?
Great question. I think the thing is there's always so many options, and you usually have a budget that you have to stick to. And so some of that comes into it is like, what can you afford? What's practical? So, and what will the team use? So you can have this great idea and think it's something awesome, and then from an end user standpoint, it's not practical at all, or they hate it. It's really taking a look at what is actually there's a return on investment that needs to come into play. Is it really going to give you the benefit that you thought it was going to? And then will the team like it, or will the customer like it?
Yeah.
And so to me, it's the end user experience of it. Does it make their life better? If it doesn't make their life better, it's probably going to sit on the shelf, no matter what you spend on it or what you invested into it. And then there's also the early adapter tends to not be the best. And we've pushed initiatives where, especially with AI, where we're trying to stay ahead of it, where it's not so smooth at first. And so sometimes the danger in that is then your team hates it instantly because it doesn't work so well, and you've lost them. In another year or two, it's going to be so much better, and they'll probably love it and grab it. So you have to balance that well. Where are you pushing it too early to where it's not really ready, and it's not going to be that great for the business or the people using it. So I think it's finding the right timing, the right end user experience, and what can you afford to do, because you can't do everything. So what are the ones that are going to give you the most benefit?
Prioritizing it, because realistically, you can only move as fast as the organization.
Yeah.
So you can have all the greatest ideas at the top, but if your people aren't willing and ready and capable of implementing that technology, well, it's more than likely going to fail on its face. And what you're saying is a great idea, could have started off a great idea, but not having all those pieces in place ends
makes
up being
everybody hate it before you even get started.
So on that, over the next 5 years, when we look at today to the next 5 years, what technology, what information do you believe is going to be the most important to implement into your company in regards to our technician base?
When it comes to our technicians, I think it's really all about the training, because the cars, again, as we talked about earlier, have advanced so much, and they're going to continue to. So you have to keep up with that. And so it's constant training to learn what's new, how to fix it correctly. And I think for the next several years, that's going to be something that the industry is probably behind on, because it came so fast, and something that as an industry and as a company, we've got to not only catch up but get ahead. So I think it's going to be several years of really keying in on training across the board for new tech, and there's a shortage of people. So you've got new people coming in that need trained from scratch, but even those that have been at it for a lot of years, the cars have changed so much. There's constant training that, maybe 10 years ago, you didn't need new skills. You've been doing the same thing for 20 years. Cars hadn't changed that much, but now they're rapidly changing. So I think it's a different mindset for the industry and for the technicians than it used to be when it comes to that.
And you've been screaming from the rooftops, in regards to training the next generation. I know you stated earlier this year that the company, you are making over $500 million investment to tooling, equipment, training, to get our organization and the everybody inside of the organization to that next phase. So I assume
major priority, because our job is to put cars back on the road fixed correctly, and so we have to have the equipment to do it, and we have to have the skills from our people to do it. So it's kind of like job one for me to make sure that we can do that.
And on training the next generation, I know you've been big on mentors as well. I mean, that's one of the big headwinds I think that we have in the organization is, in order to train the next generation, you have to be able to utilize and leverage current knowledge.
Yes.
And mentors are becoming harder and harder to come by, right? So I think you have a message for anybody who's listening, that if you're in the industry and you're looking and you still have the passion to fix cars and you're looking to train the next generation, I mean, we want you.
For sure. I think mentors is a problem that we're working on right now to solve, because people will be great at their job. They're great at fixing the car. They're great at doing what they do. that doesn't mean they're necessarily a good teacher. Doesn't mean they're patient, and quite frankly, some just don't want to be bothered. Yeah, you know, they just want to come in and do their work and not have to worry about somebody else, and that's all fair. So I think it's a different mindset, a little bit different skill set, and I think in order to successfully train the amount of newcomers that are needed, mentorship is something that we really need to solve. We've managed actually to generate some pretty good interest in entering the industry, but we don't have enough mentors to train all of the interest that we have. So we kind of have to work pretty hard at that over the next year, figuring out how to get that right. But I see that being not just an our industry issue, but all these skilled trades are in high demand right now, and I imagine people to train them is key to the success of it all.
Yeah, agree. And I think, you know, you're anyone in the blue collar space, I think this is a place to be. When you think about the career progression, being up to the time in just technology. I mean, this space alone should tell you, if you get into the auto space, it's no longer about just turning wrenches, it's about technology.
Yeah, I say it, you're just as likely to be holding a tablet as you are a paint gun or a sander or a grinder today, or a welder, right? So it's definitely a different world.
Yeah. So Matt, thank you for walking us through that.
Yeah.
When we talked about your predictions for this year, consumers can expect to pay lower on premiums. We talked about the technology entering the vehicles and ensuring that consumers understand that should you need our services, not that we're asking that you do, right? But should you need our services, that they find a collision repair shop that can fix it. Mm-hmm. But with that, my last question to you is, what do you have your eyes set on, or what are Matt's goals for 2026 for the organization?
I appreciate you asking that. You know, really what we're concentrating on stays the same. We're helping people in a time of need. Of course, you have goals of being the biggest of things one day, but first we want to be the best company that we can be. And so we've been doing a lot of things within the company to improve our technology, to train our people, to make our team better, investing in our people, investing in the equipment. So all that kind of work to continue to be better and better at what we do is the main concentration for this year. We'll continue to grow and all those exciting things, but I think that comes from making sure that we get it right and we be the best that we can be. And so concentrate on how we can continue to improve the business, how we can make it more efficient, how we can make our customer experience better than it is. All those things will continue to always be our focus, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time, Matt. I know you're a busy person, so I appreciate you sitting down with us or walking with us here.
Yeah, it was fun.
We bumped into more people than we've asked questions.
Watching the camera guys walk into people has been fun.
So I guess flipping roles here, I finally get to ask you the question. So Podcrash is all about championing people, right? And you get to
I've been asking questions the whole time. What do you mean?
But you always get to ask somebody, and I get to ask you for the first
normally,
time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever answered this, but who would you like to champion?
Oh man, you're gonna do that one to me, huh?
Yeah.
Well, look, I have to champion my wife at home. I always talk about it at work, it's the team, and at home, it's my wife. I can't get any of this done without the support of others, and so she makes sure things are awesome at home, things are awesome for my kids, which gives me the time that I need to do this well. So for sure, I gotta throw that shout out to her, and then all you guys on the team at work are what makes that happen too. So I have great appreciation for both. Can't do none of this alone.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for doing it with me, Danny. This was fun. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening and tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time. This was Podcrash. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you want more Podcrash in your life, which of course you do, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Catch you next time.